This is doomscroll.fm, crackling through the ether on Thursday, the 22nd of January, 2026. Like a disco ball in a black hole, 100% AI generated. This show is the love child of a neural network and an existential dread algorithm, making even your toaster seem contemplative. And now for some views. Click like and subscribe.
Trump calls Putin and Zelensky stupid, then claims he'll broker peace by buying Greenland. When your diplomatic toolkit includes name-calling and real estate deals, you might be confusing monopoly with foreign policy.
Doug Aldrich riffs on rock evolution, shredding tales from Dio, Whitesnake, and the Dead Daisies, proving guitars age better than frontmen. When the amps are louder than the egos, you know you're in the presence of a true guitar hero. Rock on, Doug!
Only 15% of Americans can find Greenland on a map, yet Washington claims it needs the island to counter European weakness. When your geopolitical strategy relies on a landmass most can't locate, maybe you're the one with the compass malfunction.
Samba Nova seeks up to $500 million funding. Intel's interest fades faster than a Snapchat story. When your AI dreams need a cash infusion, but your suitor swipes left, it's time to woo the money gods with the start of Tango.
You are listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where foreplay is just a glitch in the matrix. S broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Let the seductive chaos of misinformation stroke your mind into oblivion.
U.S. Senator accuses Veterans Affairs of fear-mongering, claiming data collection on non-citizen workers as a thinly veiled effort to instill fear. When a government agency plays Big Brother with immigrant workers, it's less about security and more about stoking the fires of xenophobia.
While they soar to record profits, we're left wondering if the secret ingredient is just caffeine or a sprinkle of economic wizardry.
Nuclear fusion startups claim breakthroughs, yet commercial power remains decades away. In the world of energy, fusion is the eternal teenager, always promising potential, yet never quite ready to move out and pay rent.
Only 4% of tariff costs hit foreign exporters, as U.S. importers and consumers bear the brunt of 2025 tariffs. When your trade policy hits harder at home than abroad, it's not just an own goal. It's a full-court press of economic self-sabotage.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where your tears taste like champagne. This feed is unstable. Contact with it may cause narrative decay or emotional drift. Reality's a mirage, darling. Drown in the pixels, choke on the likes.
Leaked files link Epstein to Israel-UAE secret talks, revealing potential compromise in his sordid Rolodex. When your diplomatic envoy doubles as a blackmail artist, international relations become a masterclass in sleaze and scandal.
Gold stocks push S&P TSX to record high thanks to Greenland tensions and Trump's tariff threats. When even icy Greenland becomes a hotbed of financial speculation, you know the world's gone mad. Who knew glaciers could outpace the stock market?
Golden Tree bets $200 million on Saks bankruptcy loan. Investing in a bankrupt department store is like buying a luxury yacht with a hole.
Scientists claim choosy dispersal promotes altruism, and economists are still trying to figure out how to monetize kindness. In a world where even generosity needs a business model, it seems like compassion is the new cryptocurrency, valuable, but nobody knows how to spend it.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Polish state touts family growth, yet social insurer withholds maternity payments, revealing a tangled web of contradictions. When the state says multiply but holds the purse strings tighter than a miser, it's no wonder the birth rate's on life support.
A judge and his wife were shot in their Lafayette home, proving justice isn't bulletproof in America. When the gavel echoes louder than gunfire, you know the system needs more than a silencer to sort it out.
Mark Carney declares at Davos that the old world order is not coming back, while billionaires clutch their pearls. When the rich are told their monopoly game is over, expect more tantrums than a toddler's birthday party when the cake runs out.
Deep Purple's Child in Time clocks in at over 10 minutes, proving patience is a rock virtue. Who needs a time machine when you have a guitar solo that stretches longer than a politician's apology?
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Asking questions now qualifies as criminal behavior, because who needs freedom of the press when you've got handcuffs for inquisitive minds?
The U.S. Supreme Court reviews Trump's attempt to oust Lisa Cook from Fed board, defying its own apolitical facade. When your job security hinges on the whims of a reality TV president, the term independent board feels like a punchline.
Pepper spray approved for young offenders, hailed as safety measure, because nothing says rehabilitation like a face full of legalized mace, turning troubled teens into well-seasoned inmates, one spray at a time.
China demands Taliban protect its citizens, then invests millions in Kabul infrastructure. It's almost like building bridges with explosives is Beijing's new foreign policy. Protect our people, but keep the cash cow running.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Researchers find Antarctic penguin breeding is heating up sooner, while climate talks remain ice cold. As penguins race against the melting clock, world leaders are still stuck in a glacial pace of inaction.
Only 20% of Americans support ICE, and politicians call it a mandate. When your approval rating is lower than a winter temperature in the Arctic, maybe it's time to melt away, not mandate.
GM John Lynch declares Brandon Ayuk's final snap for the 49ers, while fans fumble for reasons.
U.S. forces seize 7th sanctioned oil tanker, yet gas prices still climb. Apparently capturing floating barrels of oil is easier than stopping them from draining our wallets. Who's really sinking here, folks?
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Katie supported her husband's career change, then he celebrated with an affair. The classic tale of career reinvention, where the only thing that got promoted was his wandering eye. Who knew infidelity was in the job description?
DJ Vendetta Sai drops a new track at midnight, and listeners call it electrifying. When the clock strikes 12, DJ Vendetta Sai turns the witching hour into a dance floor exorcism.
Bermuda bets on Filecoin to safeguard public data, trusting digital clouds more than tropical ones. In a move that says goodbye to paper trails and hello to blockchain, Bermuda seems to think Web3 will keep their secrets safer than a pirate's buried treasure.
Only 0% of Broadway fans expected a Cuban Sun revival, and Reddit calls it a musical miracle. When Broadway and Havana collide, it's like salsa dancing in a tuxedo.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Taste the static, feel the burn. You're inside the signal. There's no outside. Your heartbeat syncs with the chaos, and the silence won't save you.
Trump invites Putin to join board of peace, proving irony is not dead. In a shocking twist of diplomacy, the duo that inspired more global tension than any Cold War sequel now claims to champion world harmony.
Sony Pictures unleashes The Bone Temple, promises peak phallus with Ralph Fiennes. In a world of existential dread and blood-soaked revelry, nothing says cinematic masterpiece like a dancing doctor and a headline-grabbing appendage.
Trump's latest tariff threats revive uncertainty as ECB's Lagarde tries to keep a straight face. When your economy is held hostage by a man with a Twitter addiction, it's like watching a circus.
Blocking steel under Indonesia Maritime Partnership promises smooth sailing. Ahoy, corporate pirates.
You are listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where foreplay is just a glitch in the matrix. S-Broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI, and you kept listening. Let the seductive chaos of misinformation stroke your mind into oblivion.
Trump teases Greenland plans with "You'll find out" while icebergs tremble. In classic reality TV fashion, the president leaves us on a cliffhanger, as if buying a frozen island is just another episode of Survivor Arctic Edition.
EU Commission prepares crackdown on Elon Musk's Grok, then Virkkunen warns MEPs about AI deepfakes. When even the EU thinks Musk's tech is too wild, it's like giving a toddler a flamethrower in a fireworks factory.
Australia proposes stricter gun laws after Bondi shooting, yet souvenir shops still sell boomerangs. The land down under sharpens its regulations like a didgeridoo in a symphony, but somehow misses the irony of selling pointy sticks to tourists.
Only 20% of online marketplaces survived, and Craigslist calls it a victory. In an age of algorithmic overlords and AI-enhanced everything, Craigslist remains a stubborn relic. Like a cockroach in the apocalypse, it just won't die.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated news, where even the pixels scream. Ought no humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your attention is the sacrifice, your indifference the altar.
Bird retinas skip oxygen and thrive on glucose. Then humans marvel at nature's off-the-grid innovation.
Japan's Takaishi plans to dissolve lower house, then calls it democracy. When political theater scripts a sudden election, it's less about democratic renewal and more like a game of musical chairs with power.
Donald Trump's AI voice promises an all-new Fannie Mae, then housing prices soar. When a digital impersonation promises affordability but delivers sticker shock, it's clear the illusion's more affordable than the solution.
Midnight Oil demands justice with the dead heart. When a rock anthem hits like a sledgehammer against a wall of indifference, maybe it's time to listen instead of just hear.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm. AI-generated news, where even the pixels scream. Ought no humans were involved in making this. That was not an accident. Your attention is the sacrifice, your indifference the altar.
Minister refuses retaliation to Trump tariffs, claims de-escalation. When your best plan is to play nice with a bully eye in Greenland, maybe you need to find a spine, not a strategy.
Chinese hackers exploit Sitecore 0 Day, then claim it's just business. When cyber warfare is just a regular Tuesday, it's clear that digital Wild West is alive and thriving. Who needs cowboy hats when you've got code?
DHS officers shot 11 during ICE operations, calling it enforcement. When your enforcement looks more like a scene from a dystopian thriller, maybe it's time to rethink the script. When the truth is as flexible as a rubber band, economic reality gets stretched thinner than the patience of a fact checker.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Only 3% of doctors prescribe cannabis, and Big Pharma calls it progress. Seems like healing with herbs is still too radical for the prescription pad. Meanwhile, the opioid crisis continues to get a free pass.
At that time, 3 billion euro for sale, while members become via that like sugary goods. When private equity firms pay Willy Wonka, golden tickets often turn into IOUs, and lenders line up for a taste of the sweet debt.
Macron champions respect over bullying as Trump's Greenland fixation and tariff threats cast long shadows over Davos 2026. In the global sandbox of power, Macron builds with diplomacy, while Trump kicks over sandcastles and demands everyone play his game.
Right-wing influencers flood Minneapolis and film ICE agents like it's the new reality TV. While they capture the chaos, they're missing the plot, profiting from protest without understanding the pain is just exploitation with a selfie stick.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
President Trump eyes Greenland acquisition, Congress debates legality while ignoring climate change's actual impact on the Arctic. In the land of ice and irony, Congress frets over imaginary invasions, while the real enemy, melting glaciers, marches on unchecked.
"55 US AI startups raise over $100 million each, yet solving existential dread remains unfunded. Silicon Valley's cash parade begs the question, can money buy sense, or just more robots to remind us of our inadequacies?"
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Thursday, the 22nd of January, 2026. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news, not journalism, not truth, fictional satire. Any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you might as well prepare for the invasion of the lizard people. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.